Live 105.7.
On a Friday. On his way to the release of the 9/11 report, 9/11 Commissioner, former Senator Bob Kerrey, ran into some protesters and ended up calling one of them an a-hole, Ronnie.
You know, nobody working in Washington could work in radio now. That's the problem with them. They need somebody following them around with a dump button at all time.
If the FCC was just finding the people down the hallway from them, the money that would come in. We actually have Bob Kerrey getting into it with the demonstrators.
Hi, how you doing?
You got a name?
Yeah, my name is Kristen Taylor. How you doing?
Give me it again.
Kristen Taylor.
What's your name?
Nah, never mind.
You know mine, right?
Yeah, and I know you walked out. You said it was very important,
So you can.
and you walked out.
I'm not in politics.
I'm a member of the public.
So am I.
Yeah.
So you know mine. I'm not a senator anymore. Tell me.
No, you're a public official.
You're a public official doing a public business. Try and stick around all day today.
Hey, Senator Kerry, you'll note, unlike Democrats, we didn't kick you and throw dirt on you like Cowboys people did.
So they're still yelling even as he's going back up the steps of Capitol Hill.
I like the guy with the Philly accent. I hope you stay around all day. Yeah. Yeah. We going back to the house? Fez, I don't know whether you know this or not, but Kerry will drop those guys. I mean, you're talking about a decorated veteran and a man who's got a sneer on his face all the time anyway.
Constantly.
Yeah.
And I liked it when he goes, I'm not a senator anymore.
Yeah.
So almost like that gives me permission to wipe up these steps with you right here and now.
I'm taking the hat off, okay? I'm not the job anymore. It's just me and you.
So they were bugging him about when they got to interview President Bush with the commission, and he had left early.
Yeah.
And so he's going up the steps. He can't take it anymore.
Well, what are you going to do, Fez? Either put up or shut up. That's what Bob Kerrey says. He's ready to throw down.
Now I'd like to see him debate Cheney and just go at it.
I love this whole thing. You want the man dance? Here I am. There's no fence built around this ass. Why don't you come looking for it?
That's got to be great. You're yelling things out at Bob Kerrey, and oh my gosh, he's turned around and he's coming back down the steps at you.
Now, this has happened to me before, but only when I was at a professional wrestling match, where occasionally they'll stop and challenge you to come in the ring. It's nothing you want to deal with.
You don't want to get in the ring with Bob Kerrey. A Florida woman mauled by a 12-foot alligator has died during surgery. Does Florida really need alligators anymore?
Sometimes when I go down there, I think they need a lot more of them, Fez. I love alligators. And yeah, you're going to get this, but you're living in Florida. You're living in the wild state.
The amazing thing is now an alligator will just show up about anywhere in Florida. You know, you can get on a city bus.
Every pool, there's a real chance you're going to dive in and land on an alligator. And it was only about 15 years ago they were complaining there's not enough alligators. They're going to go extinct. And now you can't go golfing without hitting one.
Yeah, now they're just walking down the street anywhere.
There's speed bumps.
This one, I think, was the story where the woman just went outside her door and it, grabbed her there.
But she's in Sanibel, right?
Yeah.
When you're in Sanibel, it's barely holding on in terms of civilization. You're one storm away from getting right back into the Everglades.
Canadian postal workers have convinced a pet store chain to stop selling bark bars. Those are dog biscuits that are shaped like mailmen.
Ah.
So I guess they thought if you give the dogs these bark bars, it's gonna encourage them to bite mailmen.
Yeah, really small, flat mailmen probably would run into danger on this.
I recognize that guy. I guess
it's a joke. It's a joke.
I guess it's funny unless you're the one getting bit.
Yes, but this is a biscuit. If they started putting mailmen in boxes and then feeding them to dogs, I go, well, this is crazy. But it's a biscuit. It's shaped like something.
The bark bars are also shaped like cats.
Why doesn't anybody complain about animal crackers? You don't see the gorillas crying like big crybabies?
2/3 of Americans believe the United States should never use physical torture on people it detains. Majority, 55%, said that this country should never use mental torture either.
You know, I'm going through mental torture every time I see another poll come out. I can't believe it's so low that we shouldn't use physical torture.
Again, it's
1/3 of the people going, yeah, we ought to hit them with a hot iron. What more do you want?
So with this, it's amazing, with the mental torture, You can do a poll and just yell out 50%, and you're pretty much going to get your poll done.
Were you comfortable with the mental torture stuff? It always seems embarrassing to me. Like, we're going to make them stand outside. It starts to look like a Japanese camp. Here's what the deal is. 100% of the time, if you're using torture, you can't be found out. And I don't care if you're a cop trying to sweat some guy who's a kid toucher. You can't do it unless you don't get caught. What went wrong with us is it ended up on Al Jazeera television, and it ended up in every paper in the world, and we looked like idiots.
What happens is the images get out there, and everyone thinks torture is, butt pyramids now. Everyone thinks that's
what they mean by the mental stuff, where you're doing stuff to degrade or whatever, or yelling out stuff about Allah. Again, you can't be caught doing it, and it was probably a stupid idea to do it to 100% of the people who came in there. You're trying to sweat everybody with the same stupid gag.
Yeah, I think now there's 120, it's up to 125 torture allegations between Iraq and Afghanistan.
Well, what are you going to do, Fezzi? It's a rough business we're in.
And they couldn't all be Lindy England.
Well, she's the only one really busted. Has anybody besides the privates been busted for this yet?
No. It's like Lindy England and 5 other guys. One of them her boyfriend, that Gracer.
And, you never will see anybody in the media going, how is this fair? You'll never see any groups going, how is this fair? That's my problem with everything that happens. It's always the guys on the bottom that end up taking the neck slap for it.
And then they have the memo saying, some of this stuff was approved, like the dog torture stuff, where they, scare them with dogs.
Yeah.
And mailman biscuits.
Well, I'm sure the dogs there's mental torture for you. The dog didn't bite them. We're just bringing the dogs in close. All right, we're going to take a break here. We'll be back in just a couple of moments. You're listening to The Ron and Fez Show.